Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thank you for being here today. As always, if you are new here, please consider liking and subbing. I appreciate it. For those of you who come back every week, I thank you. Yes, this is a second video for the same weekend. I know it's shocking, but I have a lot to make up for, so I have a couple of other videos planned for later on in the week. I have several that are suggested that I need to work through. Today's video, though, was a video that I wanted to do, and by the title, you know that it's going to be a reading on Dylan Rounds, who is the 19-year-old who went missing from Utah, I believe Memorial Day weekend. I'm not exactly sure what day to be precise, but it's been a while ago. I think it's been a month, maybe a little bit more than a month now, and no sign of Dylan. But before we get into that, and I'm not going to go too far into the details, if you're not familiar with the case, I would really recommend watching a video on YouTube and just kind of get caught up, because I'm not really going to go into anything other than just some basic facts that we know about. But before I get into that, I want to remind you guys that private tarot readings are always available. I will have my email address in the description box. All you have to do is email me and put in the subject tarot reading. I will get back to you. I check my email every day, and I know that there's some emails that I still got to get back to for other reasons, but I'm getting there. But anyway, private tarot reading is done in the same fashion as a regular reading. I record it. You see me shuffle and pull. I go over the cards, the individual cards, and the overall meaning, and then I upload it to YouTube, but I upload it as a private reading, so you are the only one who can view it. I send that link directly to you via email, and it stays up there for as long as you like, and you can watch it at your convenience or as often as you want for as long as you want. And that's how the private readings are done. They're pretty in-depth. I try to go as in-depth as I possibly can, so most of the time they're about an hour and some change long. But if you're interested, please don't hesitate to reach out. Alright, so for today's reading, Dylan Rounds. We know he was 19. We know he was a very mature 19. This was a young man who wanted to farm. He had been out to this particular land for 3 years. I think he had started to go out there and farm since he was 16. I don't know all the details about the land that he was working, if this was something that his grandparents purchased for him or if it was in the family. I'm not sure. But he had been working on this land for 3 years and seemed to be a really hard worker. And you don't really see that often with that kind of determination at that age. But he went missing. The last thing we know is he had spoken to his grandmother on the phone. I think the last day anybody had spoken to him was the day that his grandma spoke to him, and he told her he had to hang up because it was going to rain and he had to get his grain inside. And after that, we just don't know. So we have these strange things like his truck being abandoned and looks like it had been power washed, according to his mom, Candace. She, I believe, got into the car and went to drive the car. She's a petite woman. I think she's like 4'10" or something like that. He's about a foot taller than her. And so she did mention in an interview that when she got into the truck, normally she is used to having to pull the seat forward because Dylan always has it farther back, and because of her height she has to pull it forward. When she gets into the truck, she said it was already pulled forward, so it was appearing that someone else much shorter than Dylan had driven the truck to its location. That and the fact that it was power washed was suspicious. There were no tire tracks around there, no footprints, nothing. Also, Dylan's boots were found in this area as well. I think that there was a drop of blood on the boots. Anyway, long story short, the police department really dropped the ball on this because I think mom knew right from the get-go that there was something wrong, and I don't think that the police were taking it very seriously. In the beginning, it took them a very long time to even analyze the boots or send DNA testing on the boots, and the truck was released back to Dylan's mom, Candace, and Dylan's father. And I don't think that they did any kind of fingerprinting or any kind of analysis of anything on this truck. And so, just evidence lost, evidence lost and time lost on this case. And so it's frustrating. I think that the FBI is involved in the case now. I think a lot of what is going on now in the case, because the police have now kind of came in and admitted that there potentially could be foul play and they're looking into it. But I think that in order for them to get to that point, it took mom going to YouTube. Okay, or I should say coming to YouTube. She went out and pleaded for help, and I think that she did a great job at making this case more visible to the public. And when we all watch it and we hear how the police handled this, it was very, very frustrating. And so it seemed like at that time, that is when police kind of changed their tune a little bit. And so now they're doing, hopefully, what they should have been doing on day one. I believe EquiSearch has went in there and they've conducted a couple of searches. And so we've got a couple of shady characters. We've got the guy that he supposedly gave a ride to. We've got a couple of workers, one of which Dylan fired. So there's some people in this circle that I'm curious if they're going to come out in the cards today. Also, we have a PI that was hired by the family. I'm not quite sure who hired the PI, but he is no longer working for the family. However, he came out, I believe there's a phone call out there that is between Candace, the mom, and the PI. And I don't necessarily like the way the PI is talking to Candace. I think that for social skills, he's lacking, because he was just absolutely brutally just blunt, like way too blunt for a mom who is going through such an ordeal. But he brought up some possibilities and scenarios that I think that, can be put on the table, because we really don't have a whole lot of anything. At least, I think everything is on the table at this point, but there's some rumors going on about, Dylan's sexuality and things like that. And so there's a couple of cards that I'm going to try to keep an open mind on if they come out, and you can kind of keep an open mind on them as well when they do, if and when they do come out. And that is the Hierophant reversed, the Fool reversed, the Magician reversed, the Three of Cups, possibly the Lovers, or the Two of Cups. I would probably lean towards it being reversed, and that can kind of give us an indication to maybe either dismiss or validate some of those rumors going on. And does that play a role in what happened to Dylan? Because that's the only reason that the sexuality would matter. Not that the sexuality matters, because it doesn't, but is there a relationship in his life that led to his disappearance? So that would be the only significance of his sexuality. So we'll see what comes out. So I have not pulled any cards on Dylan. This is the first time. So we'll see what happens. And I want to start out with leading up to the disappearance. I just want a background of who is Dylan, what was going on in Dylan's mind at that time in his life, and see what we have here. And this is such a sad case. My youngest son is 19, so I cannot imagine what Candace is going through. I can't. I pray that this young man is still alive and he's well, and he can come home. He can come home to his family, but okay. We've got the Queen of Pentacles that fell out. So I'm going to take that one. Queen of Pentacles. So we've got a female. We've got a female, an older female. Not old, but older. I'd say 40 plus at least. So this could be mom, but I'm not sure yet. Queen of Pentacles. So we've got money, values. Let's see what else we have. Oh, someone commented on my video the other day, I just seen it yesterday, about why I pull cards from the middle of the deck and not just from the top. It's all about personal preference. When you are reading tarot cards, when you're reading tarot cards, it's your deck, okay? It's your deck, and it's how you shuffle, it's how you pull. There's no right or wrong way. It's just whatever you're comfortable with. And that's how I have always been comfortable with doing it. I do typically pull the bottom, and I'll pull the top, and then I'll pull some in the middle, and I just kind of vary it like that. But it really doesn't, it's just a personal preference as to how you want to do it. But you have to remember, when you have a tarot deck, it's your deck, okay? You tune it to how you want to have that relationship with your deck, okay? So I just thought I'd mention that really quick. Okay, so we have the Six of Pentacles reversed, and we also have the Three of Swords reversed. So we've got a money issue. Oh man, and I can see that the lighting and the sun in my window is not going to be a friend today. So sorry. I'm so sorry, guys. I have like no other space to do a reading. And this is like my spot for doing a reading. So it's not like I can just sit over on the other side of the table and do a reading because there's no window there. It would feel weird. It would feel weird doing a reading there. This is like my typical spot. It would be weird putting the camera on the other side, so I can't do it that way. So it's like the only spot I have. I'm sorry, guys. But right away, we've got money. We've got heartbreak. Okay, so there's some pain. There's something that Dylan was dealing with leading up to his disappearance. Something had him bothered, okay? And this had been going on for quite some time. We also have a 3. So what's the importance of 3? Do we have 3 people involved? Okay, is this a relationship, but is there a third party that is who caused the heartbreak? Let's keep that in mind, and we're going to keep drawing. So we've also got the Six of Pentacles reversed. So this is, again, that give and take, that reciprocation. So somebody is giving and they're not receiving, okay? And somebody or somebody is taking and not giving, okay? We've got something here that's not right. And we've got 3 people. So already I'm getting a number 3. It's possible that we've got 3 individuals involved. I would imagine that one of those 3 is Dylan, right? He's one of the swords in the heartbreak ordeal. And then we've got 2 other characters. So already something is starting to develop. And then that Queen of Pentacles. All right, and then we have the Queen of Swords reversed. So very interesting. We've got 2 queens here. We've got the Queen of Pentacles and the Queen of Swords reversed. Now, I was kind of leaning towards this being mom. They might both be mom. They might both be mom, and they might be the different traits that mom has, okay? This one here would indicate, if it is mom, that she has a different side that none of us have seen. So this is kind of, I would think, what we're seeing right now, that Queen of Swords, that sharp, go out there and take care of business, I'm going to find my son type of card, right? No play, no funny business, determined, and willing to cut down anyone that gets in her way. That's what I would expect to come out for mom, but it's not. It's coming out reversed, and I'm feeling drawn to mom. Like, I feel like this does represent mom. So there's something here that is I don't want to say off, but this would indicate somebody who it's like almost the opposite of what I just said, right? This can also represent someone who's cold and mean sometimes. So is there something here that there, or was mom aware of these things in the middle, the heartbreak, the financial problems, whatever was going on here with money and sadness and heartbreak? Was there something that she was aware of and she just wasn't down with that? She just was like, no, this is, I don't know. So let me just pull a couple more here and see, because it very well may not be mom yet, but that's who I'm leaning towards. Okay, so now we've got the King of Swords reversed. Let me see if I can push this down here. All right, so we've got the King of Swords and the Queen of Swords coming out right next to each other. I'm sorry, but I feel like this has to be either mom and dad or grandma and grandpa. Okay, this is a husband and wife duel. And that tells me that someone, okay, someone in this scenario is aware of something, okay, so somebody I think knows more, and they weren't happy with the situation. Like, they're not happy with this here. They're not happy with what's going down here. So I don't know who was involved more with Dylan, if it was his mom and dad. I think that his mom, Candace, and his biological dad are divorced, if I'm not mistaken. She is remarried. I don't think that the King of Swords would represent her new husband. It would be his biological father. So I'm actually now starting to lean towards this being more grandma and grandpa. I don't know who Dylan was closest with. I think that the property that he was farming was more to do with grandparents, I think. Don't quote me on that. Forgive me if I don't have all the details, but I'm thinking this could be grandma and grandpa, and grandma and grandpa are more aware of something here that's going on here in this situation than they're either acknowledging, or that they know, or there's something that they didn't like. They didn't like what was going on. They had some clue of what was happening. They weren't happy about it. The Hangman. Okay, so got the Hangman. Let me just pull a couple at the same time. We've got the Chariot, which is reversed. Okay, we've got the Six of Cups. Okay, we've got the Ten of Swords. So I don't like seeing this one. I don't like seeing this one because that doesn't give me a good feeling. We've got the Chariot reversed, so we've got movement. We've got an automobile. We've got, this is transportation of some sort, okay? Is this the truck? I think that this may be the truck. It's reversed, okay? So who's the driver, right? This is the original driver of the truck. This is the person in charge of the Chariot. This would be Dylan. It's his truck, right? But it's coming out reversed, so I do think that this is an indication that someone else other than Dylan was driving that vehicle, okay? Absolutely, without a doubt. And it's not like this is new information. We assumed probably that someone else was driving his vehicle based on what Candace said about the seat being adjusted, but it's like, what's the word I'm looking for? It's like a validation of sorts, okay? So I do think that, yes, somebody was driving his truck and put it there. And I always look at the clothing. This man is covered up in head to toe with armor. You can't identify him. You can't see him. You can't recognize him. He's hidden. He's hiding himself. And so that always, to me, indicates that this is a person who is either well protected, okay, well protected by people, meaning people could be covering for him, or he was hiding his identity. But I do believe that this is the other person that's driving Dylan's truck, okay? But there's, again, this is supposed to be leading up to the disappearance, but to me, the fact that this is coming up in this part of the reading means that there's something important about that truck. There's something important about that truck. Something about that truck is coming out early on in the reading. What is it about that truck? Something about the truck. And then we have the Hangman. So the Hangman, it's all about, time, stagnation, doing things at the right time, not doing things at the wrong time, not doing things at the right, all that kind of good stuff. But if you look at it physically, this is a person who has no shoes on. This is a person who has no clothes on. He is really literally wrapped up with just a cloth, okay? His hands are tied behind his back. His foot is tied. And I don't like seeing that with this Ten of Swords. I don't like these two that have come out. And I'm not going to say, okay, anything about what I feel like Dylan is or isn't, because it's a tarot reading, and I've said it in the past with other readings, and I regret doing that because this is not factual, right? Everybody has free will. Things can change at a moment. I mean, if something's done, it's done, right? There's no changing that, but it's not 100%, okay? So for those of you who are familiar with the cards, you know that this doesn't look good. I'll just leave it at that. It just doesn't look good. Okay, this is kind of an ending of sorts, although it can be a new beginning, but it's a transition. And this one here is showing a man looking to be somewhat of a young man, not dressed and tied up. All right, so I don't like the start of this. And we also have, interesting enough, we have a couple of snakes down here. I don't know if you can see them, but there's some snakes down here on this post down here. I've never even noticed that before. And how many times, if you guys watch me all the time, you know I love this deck. I love this deck. This is like my favorite deck. I've never paid any attention. That's the thing with tarot. I don't care if you have had a deck for 20 years and you've looked at those decks or those cards in and out, upside down, back, forwards and backwards. If you've pulled a card and your eye is drawn to something on that card, immediately there's something about that of importance that's drawing itself to you or drawing you to it. Okay, so pay attention to that. So if there's something, even though you've seen it before, if there's something that you focus on and it really sticks out, that's something important. And I've never really paid attention to those snakes before. So it's like they're guarding him. They're below him. They're he can't. I mean, literally, they're blocking him. So even if he were to get himself free, right? I mean, he's got snakes there below him. So that's kind of worrisome. And when you think of a snake, actually, this is reversed. So it's actually a reversed. I didn't even notice that at first. It's a reversed hangman. So not a good sign either. But we've got the snakes above him. Let me correct myself. Since it's reversed, the snakes are above him. And he's below. So we have as above, so below. And that's also not a good sign. Is he below? That's something. Is he below the ground? We've got the tree trunk here and the root system. So there's that. And I don't even want to expand on it. But who are the snakes? And we've got, is this one snake or two? This is one snake. It's just one snake and it's coiled up on the branch above him. So I thought it was two, but it's just one. So we've got a person connected to Dylan in his life that can't be trusted. Okay? There's someone, and to me that's the person that's responsible for doing whatever they did to Dylan. That's the person driving Dylan's vehicle. Now, if this is a person that had to pull the seat up, maybe they forgot to put the seat back. Maybe that was a lapse on their judgment for that moment in time. Thank God. Criminals sometimes make mistakes like that, and it can make or break a case. So does that eliminate certain suspects? Are they looking for somebody that's more closer to Mom Candace's height, versus someone taller? Or was it done to distract? What maybe it was maybe it was a super tall person and he just pushed the seat up really high up to the steering wheel to make people think that it was a short person. So I'm gonna have to draw a card on that because now that I think about it, it could go either way, so it really is hard to tell. But there is something important about that truck. There's something important about that truck because the truck is coming out. And we've got Dylan here not in a good situation. And I think that whoever that snake is the person that was driving the truck and is the person that's responsible. There's some heartbreak here again. We've got some financial issues going on that could represent a relationship with this individual. And then, of course, the Ten of Swords. So again, looking at all of this, it makes me feel like Grandma and Grandpa, the King and Queen of Swords reversed, there's some knowledge of some of this. Maybe some suspicions or something. Maybe they're not putting two and two together. Maybe they're like, okay, yeah, these things were going on, but this is, that has nothing to do with this, and it could actually have something to do with this. Okay? So there's that, and it's kind of weird. I don't know. And then we have the Six of Cups. So we have memories, good memories. I think that this is Mom. I really do. I think that this is him and mom. And I think that this overall does kind of show us a glimpse into their relationship. I think that he, for the most part, had a very good relationship with his mom. I mean, I know mom and dad are divorced, and everyone has issues. Every relationship has issues, but I think overall, this does say to me, anyways, that Dylan loved his mom, and his mom loved him. Okay, and she did what she could to give him the best life possible. This is also a card about memories, right? This is that nostalgic thinking back to the good old days or good times. And then we've got that bright sun coming in the doorway. And so that kind of also gives me that not so good feeling of that transition. Okay, so kind of a fast start, to be honest with you, with what came out, but let's see if we can get some more details and find out what happened that day. What happened to you? Tell us the story. What happened that day? Tell us the story. What happened? Queen of Cups. All right, so I think that this is, again, mom or grandma. This would make sense if it's grandma, maybe talking to grandma on the phone. Knight of Swords comes in. So he's, literally telling us the story. He's talking to grandma. He looks at grandma as that maternal figure, kind of like a mom, okay, caring, very compassionate. And while he's talking to her, this person, this knight, okay, who I believe is the snake, who is also responsible for the heartbreak and all that horrible stuff, he just comes swooping in. The Knight of Swords is the fastest man in the deck, just about, right? Look at him. He's just coming in on his horse. So it's almost as if he's saying that while he was on the phone with grandma, this person showed up. Is that why he told grandma he had to go? Because it was getting ready to rain and he had to put his grain away? Maybe. Okay. Temperance, and it's reversed. So this is, to me, just representing the turmoil and the imbalance and all things that could go wrong based on this person entering the scene. So I'm actually kind of now thinking that it happened, whatever happened, at least this person, this individual, okay, and I do believe it's a man, possibly approached Dylan while he was still on the phone with his grandma. And I think it was unexpected. It was unexpected, and he came in quick, okay? Just because of the speed behind the Knight of Swords. He came in quick, he came in hard, he came in fast, and he came in unexpected. And it just shook everything up. It just shook Dylan's world right up, okay? This is all about peace, balance, tranquility, all that good stuff. And all of that stuff is just out of whack once this person showed up. And then what happened? The Eight of Pentacles. So I believe that the Eight of Pentacles was Dylan working. Okay, he was doing his stuff. Like, I think that he alluded to grandma, so he was busy, focused on his stuff. But it's coming out reversed, and so it messed up his work. He wasn't able to do what he had intended to do that day. The Ace of Pentacles. Could this have been about money? Possibly, with the Ace of Pentacles, but the Pentacles isn't always about money. It's a tangible value system of whatever is important to you. It could represent something else. It could represent the truck. It could represent the land. Okay, so just to throw those couple of things out there. It doesn't have to be about actual dollar. But to me, because we have the Eight of Pentacles, to me, I associate that with Dylan working, and working on the farm. And then this Ace of Pentacles coming right out after it. There's something to me important about the land. Okay, there's something about the work that Dylan was doing. Okay, the work that Dylan was doing is of some importance. So maybe there was a land issue, but we have that heartache too. So I can't dismiss that Three of Swords reversed. I haven't had any other relationship cards come up, but there's some heartache, there's some problems. And I don't know, I have to keep that in the back of my mind. But right now I'm saying that I believe that Dylan knows this person, okay? I think that he knows this person. And I don't think that he was expecting him that day. I think that he came up on him that day unexpectedly. It threw everything out of whack. It messed up all the plans that he had for that day, which was, I think, truly working. But there's something here important about the truck, and there's something important about the land itself. Or money. It can be about money. And then we have the Wheel of Fortune. So the Wheel of Fortune, it's not coming out reversed, right? But to me, it just says, number one, I think whatever happened quick. Okay, I think that it happened in succession, like rapid succession. Like he hangs up the phone with Grandma and he turns around and he's dealing with this person. And I haven't seen any cards indicating an altercation or an argument, but that could still come out. But it's almost like, boom, it happens. This is the Wheel of Fortune. It's that circle, that life, that, it's constant movement. And again, we have a snake. We have another snake. I'm looking in the camera and I'm seeing this snake and my eye is drawn to it. So again, we have this person, okay, this is the same person that was above him when the Hangman came out. So I don't necessarily know if transitions, and I say transitions, I don't even want to expand on that, but I don't know if that per se happened right away, but this whole incident, whatever it was, I think began immediately after he hung up the phone with his grandma. Now, it could have lasted several hours, it could have lasted all day, but it began right when he was on the phone, I believe, when he was talking to his grandma. So it just kind of spun the wheel, and the wheel was put in motion. Okay, the wheel was put in motion, and that's what happened. And this person who is, I think of snakes. What do you connect snakes to? Somebody sneaky, somebody, lying, deceptive. Okay, so this person is not to be trusted. Here's a good card, though. We've got the Justice. I actually think that this case will be solved. Okay, this to me gives me good hope that this case is going to be solved. Is it the ending that everybody wants? I don't know. I can't say for an absolute 100% fact, but I do think that they are going to have answers. I think that the answers would have come sooner had the police taken this more seriously from the get-go, but I think now that they are, having said that, they've lost a lot of evidence, they've lost a lot of time, but I do think that there is going to be some sort of closure to this case. Okay, and then we have walking away. So the Eight of Cups. I actually do not think that this is Dylan. I think that there's enough stuff. I'm sorry about the sirens, guys. It's like every time I do a video, the sirens are... We live next to a very common, almost like a strip, okay? It's like literally like 500 feet to the left of me. And so it seems like all day there's sirens and all sorts of things. So I apologize. But I don't think that this is Dylan, okay? I think that this is someone much older than Dylan based on the hair. Okay, I've never noticed the hair before in this card. I mean, I've noticed it, but again, it's one of those things that's piquing my interest this time around. I believe that this is the person walking away from Dylan. Okay, I think that this person is responsible for doing something to Dylan, and when he was finished, he then turned his back on Dylan and left him there. And it does look like we are in a rocky area. We're outside. There's a waterfall. There's rocks. There's mountains. I don't know what the terrain is like out there in Utah. I'm assuming they have mountains. This seems like it was more of kind of like a desert type area. But, you know, again, this person had plenty of time to do what they needed to do, or travel, or take him somewhere. So I kind of feel like he has left him there. And he did it at nighttime. So I have kind of a feeling that whatever time Dylan spoke to his grandma, it began, the wheels of motion were put in place at that time, and this is something that stretched on throughout the day, and then by night this person was leaving and walking away from Dylan somewhere outside. So the hair, you know, I'm looking at this hair, and I do get the impression that this is someone older. I do think it's a male. Let me see. Let's pull some more. Yeah, Judgment. So I'm getting too many cards that are making me feel a certain way. Again, Judgment. It's, you know, these two cards to me indicate, you know, some form of transition, but also some form of judgment and karma. So I don't believe, on one hand, I have a certain belief on Dylan. On the other hand, I have a belief that this person who is responsible will not get away with it. All right, so if we can get some more information on the motive. What was the motive? Let me move these out of the way here. What was the motive? Ace of Wands reversed. Passion. Okay, we could have passion. The Six of Wands. So we've got wands coming out. We've got the moon. So we've got secrets. We've got the Three of Pentacles. The Eight of Wands reversed. So communication or lack thereof. We've got the Emperor. We've got an older man, folks. We've got the Knight of Cups. Damn, okay. We've got an older man. This person is an older man. And he is the person, to me, that is responsible. He is represented by the snake. He is full of deception. He is an asshole, to be honest with you. Excuse my language. The Emperor, to me, always comes off as kind of a cocky ass. I'm just going to say it that way. There's no other kinder way to say it. That's how the Emperor comes off to me sometimes, especially in this particular deck. Okay, I don't get the same feeling from this other deck with the Emperor, with the woman multitasking and smiling. I don't get that same vibe from her. So the Emperor would have a different feeling if I were using this. But when I'm using this particular deck, okay, this is the impression that I get. This is not a nice guy. This is not a nice guy. So let's not forget that Three of Swords reversed. There's some heartache that had previously happened. All right. Why is there heartache around this person? Why is there heartache around Dylan? Why is there heartache involving this older man? I'm just putting it out there. Okay. Might be nothing. Might be nothing. But we've got the two. So we've got this older man, this older gentleman, but he's not a nice guy. Not a nice guy. We've also got that Knight of Cups. So we've got that Knight of Cups relation card. Relationship, that dreamy knight in shining armor. But it's reversed as well. And it's right next to the Emperor. The Emperor and the Knight of Cups. And then we have Passion reversed. So the Ace of Wands, that new something, that spark of interest in something new. That's what that is. So we've got older man, we've got that love card of the Knight of Cups, we've got that Ace of Wands reversed, we also have the Six of Wands reversed. So this person, to me, in my opinion, is somebody who is, I don't necessarily want to go so far as to say a narcissist, but thinks of himself highly, okay? And he's not that, okay? He's not what he thinks he is. So this person is, this person is not a good person at all. And there's secrets coming out, the moon reverse. So we've got some things that are yet to, I think, be exposed. If they ever will, I don't know if we'll know the whole story. I think right now we don't. And there's, like I said, there's secrets. There's more to, I think, Dylan's life than we all realize. I think there's more to his life than his mom and dad realize. I think there's more to his life than even grandma and grandpa realize. But I think grandma and grandpa have more of a sense of what potentially was going on, or they have some part of the story. Because when they came up as the King and Queen of Swords reversed, that told me that they weren't happy. They weren't happy about this situation. They didn't like it. And look at all these reversals that we have. And then again, we have another 3. Did we not pull a couple of 3s in the beginning? So we have the 3 again, the 3 of Pentacles, teamwork, working together. Didn't Dylan employ 2 people? He had 2 workers under him. I think that those 2 workers are on the table. And I'm not saying that for sure one of them is this emperor, but they're coming up and they're in close proximity to the emperor. They're in this particular pull and they're surrounded by these cards. So there's definitely secrets with these 2 men. Okay, two men, individuals. I would be curious to know. I don't know anything about these 2 men. I don't even know their name. I just know that they said that Dylan had let one of them go. I would venture to say that the one that would pique my interest the most would be the older of the 2. So I don't know if they're just 2 random people, or if they're friends themselves, or if they're a father and son duel. I don't know. I don't know these 2 guys, anything about them. But one of them is obviously probably older than the other, and that is the one to me that is potentially an issue. And look at how they're watching. They're watching Dylan. They're watching him. He's working and they're watching. So when I ask about motive, I get this man coming up, and I get some hints to a relationship, some secrets, and communication. Fast communication. Remember that Knight of Swords came out. That's the fastest card in the deck as far as I'm concerned. So the 8 of Wands, it's coming out reversed. Usually this is speed. This is fast communication. But it's not fast communication because it's coming out in reverse. So it's like the opposite of that. It's almost like a stopping of communication. So was there a relationship or a friendship between Dylan and this individual, this older individual? And did he put a stop to the communication? Did he try to end it? Because we've got this Knight of Cups reversed, we've got the Emperor reversed, we've got this reversed, the Moon's reversed. The only thing that's upright are the 2 people watching Dylan, okay? So that to me indicates that it's one of the 2, or it's even both of those 2 people. They could both very well be involved, but there's one in particular that has way more to do with it than the other one. And it makes me wonder with this one if there was something going on and all of a sudden Dylan put the brakes on it and was like, no more. And that started this, okay? Let's think back to those pentacles, that Ace of Pentacles. Remember I said it could be about the land, it could be about the truck. That Ace of Pentacles could also represent Dylan. It could be Dylan himself, right? That could be what this person valued or had his eye on. Maybe that was the prize he had his eye on. Maybe it was Dylan. So let's keep that in mind as well. So let me pull another round with this deck and then I'll switch out. Because when I ask about motive and I see the communication card coming out, that to me is part of the motive. A lack of communication. No more communication. And then we've got the 6 of Swords, so we've trying to move away. trying to get away from a situation. That to me is Dylan trying to get away from the situation, trying to put this behind him. Maybe he, whatever, doesn't matter, I could, whatever, but maybe he realized that this was not going well and he no longer wanted to do this and it just wasn't working, and he was in the midst of trying to get away, right? But it shows 3 people again. So 3 people trying to get away. All right, so I think that could actually, it's a 6, but, there's an importance of 3 to me that is coming out in this reading. I actually am looking at this card as Dylan trying to get away from these 2, trying to distance himself from these 2. And he's putting the 2 guys or the 2 people in this card to me to show the importance of their involvement. Whoops, I dropped the whole thing here. I'm not going to take that because that was like half the deck. Okay, and then we have the Princess of Pentacles. Interesting card. The King of Cups reversed. So we've got somebody that... And then the Princess of Cups. Very interesting. Very interesting. All right, so sometimes when the King of Cups comes up... I'm so sorry about the sun, you guys. Okay, sometimes when the King of Cups comes up, especially in reverse, this is somebody who can be a drinker, right? It can be a drinker. And especially when he comes out reversed, it means, to me anyways, that this person may not be able to always control their drinking, or they're emotional when they're drinking, or, there's an imbalance of emotions. So that's interesting. And again, it's a king, so it's representing someone older. I think it's the older gentleman. There could be drinking issues that he deals with. And then we've got these 2 young girls, okay, the 2 princesses, okay, and so the Princess of Pentacles and the Princess of Cups. So I'm gonna just say that I'm leaning towards this being Dylan. All right, I am. I really am, and I don't mean that. That's just what I immediately feel when I pull those 2 cards, and they're surrounding him. But we've got 2 of them. So is it both? Are they both Dylan, or are they 2 different individuals? They could very well be 2 different individuals as well. So, and the king, this older gentleman, is smack dab in the middle of them. Does that mean that he has another person that he is doing this with, or 2, or is this a pattern? It could very well be a pattern, or maybe not necessarily a pattern, but it could be just the fact that this isn't the first time that he has, sought out someone. All right, one more card for motive. What was the motive? Besides the stopping of the communication, trying to get away. I feel like that's pretty much what we're looking at. Yeah, the Tower. So it just was utter chaos. This is just destruction, just everything. But it's also foundation. It's also a building. I feel like that building represents the land out there as well. So it's a destroying of that. There's a couple of different things coming out. So for motive, I'm getting a couple of different things. I'm getting potential relationship and Dylan wanting to move on from that and get away from that and stop it. And then there's also something important about the truck, which could very well just be actual evidence in the truck or some sort of clue in the truck. And then there's these pentacles, whatever the pentacles represent. The pentacles could represent the land. The pentacles could represent the tools, the truck. It could represent Dylan himself. So that's what I'm looking at as motive. All right, so now let's get into the other deck and see. All right, if we can get more information on what happened that day. All right, so we've got we've got the Hierophant. But the Hierophant, remember I said in the beginning, I'm looking for the Hierophant, the Two of Cups, the Lovers, Three of Cups. We've pulled a lot of threes, so I feel like three's a party, right? We've kind of, I feel like, narrowed it down to, I have been drawn to those two workers this entire reading. I haven't necessarily been drawn to the person that he picked up. I'm more drawn to the two workers that were around him, especially the older one. But we've got the Hierophant now, the Hierophant. 5. Guidance. You know what I'm thinking about while I'm looking at that card? I'm thinking about how Dylan would go into town. I don't know, I can't remember the name of the town that he would go into, but there was a couple of places in there that he would go into to grab a bite to eat. A couple of bars, if I'm not mistaken. And so I'm looking at that because doesn't it kind of look like it's a store, right? It looks like either a store or it looks like potentially, somebody sitting up at a bar. And I feel like there's a clue being given to us with this card. This to me is Dylan, okay? And this is the person and this is all about guidance and help, right? She's asking for her opinion on what to get or what to choose, and this woman's helping her. And so I have a feeling that Dylan possibly opened up to someone in town, and someone knows something more than what they're saying or willing to say, or maybe they don't want to say. I don't know, but I feel like Dylan did express some of what he was going through with someone in town. Oops, that one came out, so we're going to take that one. Justice. So I feel like we're going to get answers in this case. I really do. I feel like there's going to be some sort of break in the case, and they're going to... I think there's enough information out there between people or amongst people, including whoever this is in town, and I do think that they're going to eventually find out what happened. The Three of Pentacles again. This is work. This is teamwork. This is working together. This is focusing on the workers. To me, this is again, this card came out twice. So we've got Dylan and the two workers. Dylan here, the two workers here. There's something important about the two workers. Draw a couple more here. The Four of Cups. I actually like that Four of Cups. It's different from most. And then we have Death. I know I just said I like that Four of Cups, but now after the Death came out, I feel slightly different about it. We've got someone that Dylan has confided in or sought guidance from. Justice. Dylan and his co-workers, or excuse me, not his co-workers, but the people that he hired to work for him, so his workers. Okay. And then we have, this is Dylan, okay, outside, up against a tree. Remember that Eight of Cups? The person responsible was walking away. I said that the cups to me represent Dylan. He's turned his back on Dylan and he's walking away. He's leaving him there. We've also got the cups around Dylan. Okay. So I do think that Dylan is outside. And then we have the Death card reversed. So an ending of sorts. For here in this deck, it's a for sale sign. So it's kind of the ending of a season or a phase in one's life, or a transitioning. Okay, but it is coming out next to Dylan here. Let me pull a couple more. The Magician. Remember in the beginning I said the Hierophant, the Magician. So yeah, I think that those cards are starting to come out now. the Five of Wands reverse. So now we're starting to get that confrontation or conflict. And it's right underneath the two workers. And again, the Knight of Swords. The Knight of Swords made an appearance again. So we've got the Magician. And again, I'll go back to my beginning when I said there's a couple of cards that I'm going to be looking for. Possibly the Hierophant reversed, the Magician reversed, the Fool reversed, the Two of Cups, the Lovers. Any of those cards to me are going to indicate a relationship. And not a one that has problems, okay? Not even not a healthy relationship. The one person in particular, the older gentleman, is sneaky, okay? He is sneaky. He's not to be trusted. This to me is the older gentleman, the Magician. So he's very, very manipulative, very secretive, okay? This is a person that I wouldn't be surprised has kind of like a double life. Like he has this outside appearance that he tries to portray, but then who he is on the inside. And I think it slips from time to time. I think he thinks that he's got everybody fooled, but I think that when people are around him enough, that mask starts to fade. And people can kind of get a glimpse into who and what he is. But this is the person to me, one of the workers. One of the workers. And then we have the Five of Wands, which is oftentimes disagreement, arguing. Look, they don't look like they can agree on anything. So there possibly was an argument. I actually feel like there was some disagreements even way prior to whatever happened prior to that day. But I also think that day there were disagreements. But there were some issues. There were some issues between these people. And we've got 4 people. This is a 5, okay? But we've got 4 people. And then we have a date circled on the calendar. We have the 21st. So this one here says June 21st, but let's just keep an eye on the date, the 21st. We also can, reduce that 2-digit down to 1 digit. So we're going to add 2 plus 1 is 3. So we have the, 3. Possibly could we know something by July 3rd or, something around, is it going to be the third day of the week or the 3rd day of the month? And then again, 3 just keeps coming up. 3 keeps coming up. That has been a consistent number. If there's any number to me that has been important in this reading, it's the number 3. We have a group, okay? We have more than 2 individuals. Now, I'm looking at 3 as literally 3, so I'm looking at it as Dylan and his 2 workers. Could it represent a bigger group? Yeah, it could, because we've got more than 3 here. So maybe there is something bigger going on here, a bigger picture than we realize. But I feel like I'm more apt to think that we're dealing with 3 people. And then we have the Knight of Swords again. All right, the Knight of Swords again. So, this to me, remember that Knight of Swords that came swooping in when he was talking to Grandma, when Dylan was talking to Grandma? To me, this is after the fact. And it looks like she's doing a lot of writing. So she's writing and she's got a couple of drinks. Look at that. She's got a couple of drinks in front of her. I already said with that King of Cups reversed, I feel like this is somebody who drinks. So this is definitely somebody who to me is, well, I guess that's a candle. But originally when I first seen it, I looked at it as a cup or glass. But there is the cup here. So I do believe that this is a drinker, and I do believe that there's something here with the writing. There's something with the writing and the paper. So it could be some sort of trail that he has left, a clue. Maybe he's written about it. Maybe he's got, there's something. Is he a journal, a person who journals? Is there evidence? But I feel like there's something that when this person is looked into, there will be evidence backing it up. We have the Seven of Cups. So again, we've got this person drinking. She's literally drinking in the Seven of Cups. I think that this person is drinking more now. I think that whoever this is, they've gotten worse on the drinking. So that could potentially be a clue. I mean, if there's somebody there that was kind of drinking before and now they're really drinking, that could be a sign of something in the world. So we've got endings, new beginnings, a city, and then the Ten of Wands. Yeah. So I honestly think with the Ten of Wands, I think this person was already on the edge. I think that we're looking at the person responsible right now. The Ten of Wands is like oppression, okay? She looks like a person who's been at work all day. She's tired, she's exhausted. It's obviously late, right? The sun's went down. She probably left really early. She's got her cell phone, her bag, her purse, and everything, and her keys. And she's just done. She's just done with the day, right? She's ready to go in and change her clothes. If it's a woman, she wants to take her bra off, right? I just got to add that. That's the first thing that goes, right? But in all seriousness, this is a person who is ready to end the day and put it behind her and get some rest and start fresh tomorrow. So, to me, I feel like this person is overwhelmed with everything that's going on. I think that this person, remember that Chariot. Remember the Chariot. Let me go back to the Chariot for a second. Remember I talked about the armor and I said protection? Is this a person who felt he was protected for some reason? Did he feel confident that he would get away with this? Is he shocked by the response publicly on Dylan's case? Did he think that this was a small town, kind of like similar to Summer Wells? Whoever is responsible for Summer Wells, did they miscalculate how the public would respond to it? Did they think, oh, nobody's going to pay attention, it's a small town in Tennessee, it's a mountain town, people don't even know we exist here, something could happen and nobody would be the wiser, but it ended up blowing up, right? Is it similar to that? I think it is. I think that this card indicates that it is. This person, I have to wonder, felt like he was protected. He had that Chariot and he was covered in head to toe of armor. So he felt protected. He felt hidden, like he was, he could get away with this and no one be the wiser. And this card makes me feel like he is concerned that his world is coming to an end. And he is, is he preparing something? Is he writing something? Is he thinking about doing something? I don't know, but he's not doing very well, like with his drinking. I think that is actually gone above and beyond. He's drinking several drinks a day, and he feels the walls closing in on him. He feels like the light is on him. Look how bright she is. She's gold. She's right in the middle. Everybody else is gray, but she's bright. So I feel like he feels like the lights are on him. And I actually, with this card coming out and her being the center of this group of people, I feel like that represents the fact that he is being looked at. So I wouldn't be surprised if law enforcement already has their eye on this person. Maybe he thought he would be protected, but because of the public outcry and the public interest of this case, that protection is kind of slipping away, and it's not going the way he thought. I think that he is being looked at as a potential suspect. I wouldn't be surprised. And this, to me, is just kind of the ending. This is the end of the day. How much more is he going to be able to hold out for? Let me draw just a couple more cards, and then I'm at an hour, so I'm going to end this reading. Let me just do Temperance. Balance. I'm going to end it with that one. Balance restored. Okay, this is... to me, it kind of goes along with the Justice cards. We pulled the Justice twice, so I do think that there is going to be some answers in this case. And I think that, like I said, police, I think no more suspect more than what they're telling us. And I don't necessarily know if it would have always went that way. I think it was part of the public outcry that is helping push things along. So I'm glad that Mom Candace did seek help outside of law enforcement to get the word out there. But I think we're going to have answers in this case. I really do. I feel that with the Justice cards coming out like they did. And those last couple of cards that came out representing this person's energy around them, because they feel the walls closing in on them. They really do, whoever this person is. So I'm gonna end it there. Let me know what you guys think as far as the Dylan Rounds case. This was an interesting read. Like I said, I've never pulled any cards on Dylan. I was curious to pull some cards and see what came out, but not a good reading as far as the, it's like bittersweet. I feel that there's going to be some ending and closure, but pray that that's not the case. But anyway, thank you guys for joining me today. I'm going to hurry up and get this up for you so you guys can have another video, and I will see you later on in the week. Enjoy the rest of your beautiful weekend, and thank you so much.